obadde gwe yagitandise?
Sinagitandikako.
Tuli ku ki?
So now this had killed the market for, of course. So now this had killed the market for, of course.
I'm ready.
Kiraga nti yatambuddeko dda essaawa 10. Kiraga yatambuddeko dda essaawa 10. Simanyi lwaki kiriwo ekityo. I don't know why it is like that. I don't know why it is like that. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, watching us here at Blackwood Fire Network. My name is INNOSSETU, with my colleague Africa Maria. Today is a Tuesday, and it is 6th of August 2024. Like I said yesterday, this is the 8th month of the year, and if you're watching me from Twitter or YouTube, Blackwood Fire Network 2, I welcome you to this show. And if you're watching me for the first time, endeavor to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Actually, Blackwood Fire Network has also other channels like Blackwood Fire Network Live, Blackwood Fire Network. You can subscribe. You can look for those, of course, YouTube channels and subscribe to those YouTube channels, as well as liking our pages from Facebook and, of course, Twitter. Yeah, today's topic is a nice one, uh, and it's about, of course, the Russia versus Ukraine. Russia versus Ukraine in Africa. And of course, there is a question that is posed alongside this topic today. Is this a new theater for a war in, of course, in Africa? Or is like, are they changing their war from fighting the other ends to fight from Africa? That is the question that is on our heads. That is the question that is on our heads. But when we look at these two countries, these are countries that have been fighting for now a year. Of course, for now a year, and of course, for now 2 years, they have been fighting. But as uh, uh, when we see that, of course, when we look at both of these countries, Russia and Ukraine. Apparently, actually, let's start from, of course, from what happened, of course, in Mali recently. Of course, where a lot of claims about, of course, Ukraine supporting, of course, the Mali rebels fight fight the Russia's Wagner. As of course, as as the stalemate between, of course, Russia and Ukraine of course, continues, the war is changing life not only in Europe but also in other, of course, continents, of course, and countries across, and also in countries across Africa. Russia, we see that Russia has, of course, claimed growing influence in Africa in recent years. But more recently, it has become evident that, of course, Moscow is creating chaos of course, in Africa as part of the calculated strategy to destabilize Europe. In particular, we see that Putin has sought to extend his reach in Western and Central Africa and to gain access to, of course, to Africa's resources. So, Ukraine has also looked to strengthen its alliances in Africa to counter the growing Russia's influence. So, we see that Zelensky, this is the president of Ukraine, uh, made his first state visit to, of course, to Africa over the coming months. And of course, Ukraine plans to double the number of its embassies in Africa. So why is this so important? So the desire to gain influence in Africa shows a growing, of course, appreciation of the role played by the African continent in the geopolitical affairs. So the value of African alliances and, of course, Russia's traction on African continent was, of course, underscored when 17 out of the 54 African countries in the United Nations abstained from the 2022 vote condemning Russia's invasion. So that, of course, made it clear that international condemnation of Moscow was not universal. So Russia can, of course, exploit instability in Africa to trigger further political destabilization among its Western enemies, particularly with increases in mass illegal, of course, migration from the continent. And of course, Moscow also views African nations as a gateway to access strategically important natural resources. So what was, of course, what are Russia and, of course, Ukraine doing here in Africa? Russia has, of course, murderous, of course, operandi, of course, has so far been to prop up the sky, of course, the Shanki regimes with weapons and, of course, disinformation in exchange for diamond and gold via its Wagner Group mercenary force, now, of course, rebranded as Africa Corps. So countries in the Western and Central Africa have been neglected by the West, and of course, Russia has ostensibly been walking through doors left wide open by former colonial powers, including the Central African Republic, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Sudan, where anti-European feelings are stoked by propaganda. So the influence of Russia has been felt, of course, patently in Sudan, where a bloody civil war continues to rage, with the reports of Russian, of course, mercenaries aligned with the rebel forces. Ukraine appears to have since aligned itself with the government forces in Sudan. So when we look at very many people, of course, are asking, why is it that the Sudanese war is not ending? In reality, Ukraine and, of course, Russia, they are fighting in Sudan. These two powers, they are fighting. These two countries are, of course, they have extended their, of course, fighting into the African soil, into Sudan. When you look at the government forces, these are forces that, of course, are supported by the by the Ukrainian government, and the rebels, the rebel group, or the other part. The other time we talked about the Sudanese crisis, the so-called rapid support forces. This is not actually. This is, let me call it the rebel. The rebel. Let me call it the rebel force. It is supported by Russia. So to try to strike at, of course, Russian interests far beyond the Ukrainian war's front line, we see that uh, both the Russia, of course, and Ukraine have attempted to win over governments with, of course, deliveries of grain and humanitarian aid. And of course, Ukraine is expanding its shipment program to counter the impression that Russia is the only side in the conflict trying to address the impact of Africans. So both countries have also, of course, sought to recruit fighters from Africa. So many of the young Africans facing bleak economic prospects at home are drawn in by the promise of high pay and even Ukrainian citizenship after the war. So while estimates suggest thousands of the Africans that have been recruited for Russia, potentially through the Wagner Group. So Ukraine as a country has, of course, recruited very many Africans. And I was, of course, going through a certain article, and I saw like there are a lot of Tanzanians, even some Kenyans that were seen in Ukraine fighting on behalf of Ukraine. And also, Russia also has also did it through, of course, the Wagner group that is recruiting a lot of young of course, young people in Africa, young Africans to go and fight on behalf of course, Russia. So there is, of course, growing feeling that Russia appears to be winning the hearts and minds of Africa. But while Russia may be succeeding in attracting alliances with other authoritarian regimes, Ukraine can find fertile ground in appealing directly to Africans on issues with Moscow that cannot reach. So, democracy is the strongest, of course, selling point among young Africans. And for Ukraine to lose the war would have strategic implications for the democratic world that would be both profound and, of course, negative. So, when we look at, of course, both of these countries, they are here in Africa. They are actively recruiting youths to go and fight for them. They are here taking resources. They are here, of course, training. They are not training, of course, military to fight for Africans. They are training military to go and fight in Ukraine, to go and fight on behalf of Russia. They are fighting for resources here. They are fighting for resources here. At first, of course, yes, Russia was here before Ukraine, but Ukraine it is just trying actually to extend its ties, of course, to many of the African countries. And actually, the most recent is the of course is the attack of the Tuareg rebels in Mali, of which the Mali government, of course, allegedly said that there was support of Ukraine in this. So this has stressed, of course, relationship between between Mali and, of course, Ukraine. We see that in the roll call over thousands of Russia's Wagner fighters killed in the, of course, in the furious battle for the Ukrainian city of before that, we see that, like I was saying, that Africans fighting in Russia's front line in Ukraine. When we see that, when we see uh, uh, when we see that, of course, in the roll of call over thousands of Russian Wagner fighters killed in, of course, in the furious battle in Ukraine city, we see that names Derimo from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, the largest city, died, of course, last year when his unit in the Wagner Private Army came under artillery fire in the village of course, of Odradivka, just south of the biggest city of the Ukrainian city. It is called the Kiev. So we see that the stock round first 32-year was, of course, courageous and able fighter. His commanding officer wrote a report on him and said that 4 years earlier, this fighter, this African, of course, person, this Tanzanian man had arrived in Moscow to further his education. Filled with ambitions, his family said he enrolled in of course, in a Russian language course at Moscow's, of course, Pushkin, of course, Institute, then transferred to, of course, to a postgraduate program in IT at the City of Russian Technological University. So, and of course, there are very many, of course, Africans that have been, young Africans that have been, of course, recruited, of course, to fight on behalf of Russia as well as Ukraine. So a lot of them. You get up, Katana.
Right. The existence of Russia and Ukraine in Africa is visible as of now. Like some time back, I remember I told you guys that Russia has been in Africa for some time, but a lot of people didn't realize it. They didn't even know Russia had bases here. They didn't know Russia has dealings because it was always doing its activities underground until of recent. Um, with Ukraine, actually, it started with the grain. Of course, we know that it's one of the biggest countries that produce wheat, and we see that, of course, a lot of wheat from Ukraine, being transported or exported to Africa. Now, there has always been a mutual trade understanding between various African countries and, of course, Ukraine. And when we saw the Russia Ukraine war, actually, is when a lot of people got to understand that, oh, so apparently the wheat we feed on, the biggest percentage of this wheat comes from Ukraine and so on. A lot of people didn't know about this until the war struck. But now Ukraine is going beyond the grain. Though at the cover or the front pages, it is still using the grain as of course, an example. First of all, and as an excuse, sorry. First of all, We know the war between Russia and Ukraine has hindered a lot of exportation, transportation movement, and the farming and all that. So the grain coming down to Africa shouldn't be an excuse that Ukraine is using to have its footprint down here. But of course, it is trying to also probably attack Russia in one way or the other, because somehow the Ukrainians or the Ukraine government believes that Africa is still one stronghold for Russia. So as you know, as they are continuing with this war, it is important for Ukraine as well to sabotage Russian bases. You can realize that first of all, Ukraine has reduced the prices of most of its commodity it has been sending down to Africa, and it has still tried to bring some charity in some countries like Sudan, Egypt, and other places. Unfortunately, a lot of Africans are still embracing Russia visibly, like you guys can see, rather than Ukraine, which is, of course, still hindering Ukraine back a little. I can see Keith is in the studio. Keith, you're welcome on our live.
How you guys doing?
We are fine.
All right.
How are you?
I'm all right. We're on the
Hmm.
over on the Texas Mexican border, trying to stop these Mexicans from getting in here, but it's not working.
Oh.
They're still getting in, trying to smack them in their head, but they're still coming across the border. Shit. Oh, let me. We're gonna come back in.
All right. So, is that one sim? Okay. So, go back. So, well, we know very well that even if we are seeing a lot of African countries waving or flying the Russian flags, I can still say we still have a lot of underground work that is going on. We have got Russian representatives. It is more of political than it was before. It is more politically visible than it has been. Um, we can see it.
Yeah, welcome to almost Mexico. You go 2 miles south of me, you've been in Mexico on the Mexican
Mm-hmm.
border, on the Mexican border out here.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico. So, how you guys doing? How you doing, Maria? How you doing, Seto? Guys, good.
We are good.
Uh,
I'm good.
yeah.
All right. So, what you guys? You guys talking about Russia? Oh, my thing's not plugged in. Oh shit! Hold on. I didn't know. My damn thing wasn't plugged in. Shit.
We are talking about Russia versus Ukraine in Africa.
Yeah. Well, Ukraine. You can't say Ukraine has any influence in Africa. It's the West. Ukraine is really, like I said, their military has been destroyed by the Russians. The fake military that the Americans and NATO built up has been wiped out. So, but it wasn't important to help the Ukrainians. It was to help these companies in America, or you call the West, take over Ukraine, steal all its resources, like they always do. That's what it's supposed to do: steal people's resources. Um, hopefully weaken Russia, but it didn't work. Hasn't worked. So, so the scam has been on them. It did not work. So, um, you know, so there really is no Ukrainian. They're just drawing out the inevitable, drawing out the inevitable because Russia's already won that conflict, and it wasn't the conflict that Russia started. The conflict that America started. They wanted to take over Ukraine and also break up Russia. That's always been the scam they did. So they went and overthrew a duly elected. They don't believe in any democracy. That's the shit they tell Africans and morons. They don't believe in no fucking democracy. Unless you would have them for 70 years, for 40 years, that moron in Cameroon for 50 years, that other moron down in Equatorial Guinea 50 years. They don't give a fuck about democracy. They care about stealing and the power and the wealth of a country. Because if anybody knows what happened right down in Venezuela, the president went against it. Their corrupt economic system is collapsing because it's all fake. These dumbass Africans have been getting these fake ass paper money, which is worthless, and giving up their real resources, their gold, their cobalt, their coltan, their uranium, all their shit for fake paper. Paper money is fucking useless. So their economic system is starting to collapse because it was always fraudulent. So what you see happening now is them trying to scramble and steal countries' resources. So they've been trying to overthrow Venezuela for 20 years, 25 years really now. So they lost again. So now they're starting a fake revolution in Venezuela with the people because they couldn't steal the election again from Maduro. And the military, which is mostly staffed by Africans, understand that most of Venezuela's military are African descent, who were taken out of Africa and doing slavery time. So they kept Venezuela from being overthrown by the crooked ass CIA and the crooked ass American government. So if you look at Venezuela's hierarchy, its military, it's all staffed by Africans, and they've not allowed the country to be overthrown. And so since Maduro won again, they're trying to start a fake revolution in Venezuela. Oh, he didn't win. Oh, it's a travesty against the people and all that shit they usually do. Because if you don't know, Venezuela has more oil than any place on the planet, more than Saudi Arabia. They want that oil. See, remember 25 years ago when Chavez came and he kicked all the white people out and the oil companies and nationalized the oil to benefit their people. So the West has been trying to destabilize and overthrow them so they'll get back the white people as psychopaths. They must own and control all your shit to keep their fake racial pyramid scheme. White on top and black on the bottom. And so they haven't been able to. They tried coup after coup after coup in Venezuela. At least 6 or 7 of them. The last one being under Trump in 2019 that failed. And then naming some fake president. He just named some guy. He's the president of Venezuela. How? Ain't nobody vote for him. America just told you some other dude that they said he's the president of Venezuela. Right? You can look his name. What was that guy's name? Juan Guaido. You can look at, I don't know how to spell that Spanish name, Juan Guaido. You say, what are you talking about? He didn't win no election. He's president. We see him as the president of Venezuela. Like, what are you talking about? That's how psychopathic these Americans and CIA. They just named some guy president of Venezuela who never got elected. Juan Guaido is the sitting president of Venezuela. Like, what? What are you talking about? Because they want those resources. That's what the Sudan is about. But since Sudan African people are all fucked up because you don't have no identity, since you've been colonized, your identity, you're Arab, you're black Arab, you're black, you hate being black, you're a black Christian, you're black Muslim, everything but African. So you're easy to divide and conquer. That's what happened in Sudan, why they broke it up. South Sudan. Oh, why they got this fighting again? Because you got the Arab niggas out with Arabs and all that shit. So they've been broken up again because you lack identity. It's like Maria talking about Nigeria with their tribal shit. Here, dumb Africans can't be tribal and have power. Okay? That's why everybody calls you low IQ. Can't be tribal and have power. That's why you're always on the bottom. Why they destabilize your countries? Because you hate yourselves, and these puppets that are put in power hate themselves and hate you too. But the African people never get shit, always get treated like shit, even when they out the country. The African nations don't respond to them when they've been abused because they don't give a fuck. So you got an identity crisis happening in Africa. You don't like being African, and you don't like who's ever African. Can't do anything with your tribal shit. I'm a Yoruba. He's Hausa. I'm Igbo. Nobody gives a shit about your fucked up tribe. You ever notice when you get outside Nigeria, none of you niggas talk about your dumbass tribe no more. Because you know why? No one gives a shit. No one gives a shit about your damn tribe. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm an Igbo man. I'm a Hausa man. I'm a Fulani man. I'm a Yoruba man. You never say that shit outside of Nigeria because you know why? You know why? Because the rest of the world doesn't give a shit about your dumbass tribe. Because your tribe has no power, has no respect, not in the world. They've been in your goofy country because you want to fight against each other. But in the world, nobody gives a fuck about you being no Igbo. Nobody gives a fuck about you being no Hausa. No one gives a shit about you being no fucking Yoruba. Who cares? No one gives a shit. That's why you're all in these other countries. You got Nigerians in Brazil, Colombia. I was like, God damn, they got Nigerians in Brazil? But I bet you're not calling yourself whatever you are. I bet you're not calling yourself that tribal shit. I bet that. I bet you're not saying that. I bet you're not saying, I'm a Hausa in no fucking Brazil. I bet you're not saying, Yoruba in no fucking Brazil. Because you damn sure ain't saying that shit in America. You're not saying none of that shit in America. When you hear, you got a bunch of Nigerians in America now. Ain't none of you talking about, I'm an Igbo. I'm a Yoruba. You just say you're Nigerian. But you can never be Nigerian back in Nigeria. You can never be Nigerian back in Nigeria. You're every other ethnic group. Because outside of that, no one gives a shit about your tribe. Because your tribe has no fucking power on the globe. And nobody respects your fucking tribe. Who gives a fuck about your tribe? Your power comes when you learn to unite and have an African identity, not a tribal identity. African. That's why Kenya's getting respect, because it's getting rid of, and you said fuck the tribe. That tribe shit is moronic. It's stupid. And it is stupid. Because have you just seen how Bangladesh said they got inspired by Kenya, but they went further than Kenya. They've overthrown their MP. They came out the military was shooting, and none of people died. A bunch of people died. They were like, fuck that. So what? So what? Yeah, we're going to die, but we're going to change this fucking government. So what? I told you. There is no military that can go against the will of the people, because the people always are the majority. Do this for me, Seth. You behind your computer. Put this up for me, Seth. Go to YouTube and pull up Bangladesh gets rid of its prime minister. Say Bangladesh gets rid of its prime minister. And then we're going to see how many people got killed. A bunch of them. So what? The price of freedom is death. So what? So what? They win, they overthrew. Now the prime minister that fled to India. So you better get your ass out of here. We about to do some pain on your ass. because they were implementing the same IMF World Bank system to them. They said, fuck that, no. They said, oh, we scared. Oh, they got the military. Oh, we scared. Fuck being scared. Fuck always being a coward. Their military is bigger than any African military you got on the continent. They said, fuck that. So what? Yeah, we're going to die. But so what? We're going to be free. People are going to die. You find anything, Seto?
Yeah.
Yeah, show your screen for us. Let's see how they routed her. They got her ass on that plane, got the hell out of Dodge because they overthrew the whole government. Until you Ugandans learn this and stop being scared. But 70 is staying no good, raggedy ass in it forever. They said they got inspired by Kenya.
We are not. We have no safety.
That's right.
This cannot be a secure.
But they went further than Kenya.
So we want peace. We want freedom, and we want a perfect environment for our students to go back to the classroom.
So understand, there is no government, there is no military that can stop people power once the people have said, fuck it, I've had enough of your ass. There is no military big enough to stop the people once they've organized. And even though Bangladesh said they were inspired by Kenya, they went further than Kenya. They said, all this shit gotta go. All of it gotta go. There's no police, no military that can stop it. That's why these despots like a Pacific always want to keep you scared. There's nothing you can do. No. If you learn to get rid of your tribal shit and unite, you can't be stopped. The people are always the majority. Always. There's no military big enough to stop the people. It doesn't exist. Look, they was all in the goddamn parliament. I mean, they was all in the president's palace eating the food and shit. I loved it. They was all in the president's palace. We eating all this shit. That's right. They was in there eating all the food. That's right. We eating all of it. God damn it. You don't keep us starving all fucked up, broken, poor, talking crazy to us. That's what these dictators want to do. Always make you scared. You better not, they want to do Museveni. You better not do nothing. If you're not, you overthrow Museveni in a day. You'll get rid of his ass in a day. If you're ready to goddamn do that work, you'll get rid of his ass in a day. There is no government on this planet that can survive the people. Once they're united and fed up, It just takes Africans a
আমাদেরকে
long
ঐক্য
time to
থাকতে
get
হবে।
fed up.
আমরা যদি একটা রুখে দাঁড়াই, আমরা ইনশাআল্লাহ বাংলাদেশের স্বপ্ন গড়ে ছাড়বো। আর সেনাবাহিনীর যেসব ভাইয়েরা আমাদেরকে বাধা দিতে চেষ্টা করবেন, আপনাকে বলতে চাই, আপনারা দয়া করে শরীরটা সহযোগী হবেন না। আপনারা হয় জনতার কাতারে নেমে আসুন, নয়তো নিরপেক্ষ থাকবেন।
Namanya sekolah.
And looked at Kenya and said, if Kenya can do it, fuck it, we can do it. We don't got a bunch of tribes and shit. Fuck that tribe shit. We're going to unite and overthrow these wicked ass bastards. Do me a favor, Sento, see how many people died. See how many, they probably don't got the numbers anyway. It's in the hundreds. It's in the hundreds. So yeah, we know it's in the hundreds that were murdered. So what? We probably, yeah, they ain't gonna have the exact numbers. It's in the hundreds that were killed. See how many people died in the Bangladesh uprising? They're not gonna have the exact number anyway, Seth. It's gonna be in the hundreds. So what? You always got Africans. I might die. Yeah, you might die to get free. Yeah, sorry. You might die to get free. That's right. Either you have freedom or you don't. And like Maria said, you're not ready for freedom.
However, Google is not giving me the exact number, but
I told you.
in the morning I
I
had
told.
like over 1,000 people were killed.
Yeah, it's over 1,000. Yeah, I know it's in the thousands. Yeah, it's over. Yeah, it's over. It's in the thousands because they brought their military center, but the people said, so what? Fuck that. Fuck this military. You can't stop all of us. There's too many of us. There's no way you're going to stop all of us. We're in the millions. There is no military center that can stop the people. There's no military. Once the people have made up their minds and said, we're tired of this shit, there's no military that can stop it. And every leader will get tough. Yeah, it's in the thousands. Yeah, I knew the number wasn't going to be exact. Yeah, but it's in the thousands. Let me translate what he said. He said, fuck this shit. Fuck this motherfucking president. Fuck it. We're going to take their ass out of here. That's the translation. You guys give me a second. I gotta go take a piss. Give me a second, guys.
এই অবস্থা থেকে বের হওয়ার জন্যই সবাই বের হয়ে আসছে। আসলে শুধুমাত্র প্রোটেস্ট এখানে ছিল না, ওনার অত্যাচারের জন্যই মানুষ বের হয়ে আসছে রাস্তায়। এটাই আমাদের কথা।
আমাদের আজকে খুব ভালো লাগছে। আমাদের মনে হচ্ছে যে আমরা আবার একটা দেশ স্বাধীন করলাম। সেজন্য আমরা এসেছি। আমরা সবাই খুব খুব খুশি। আমি আমার হাজবেন্ড আমরা রোজা আছি, আজকে রোজা আছি। আল্লাহর কাছে দোয়া চেয়েছি।
দাঁড়িয়ে বলতেছি, এই 16 বছরের সৈন্য শাসকের আজকে পতন হয়েছে, আমরা জয়যুক্ত করেছি, আমাদের বিজয় নিশ্চিত হয়েছে। এবং সেই শহীদের বিনিময়ে আজকে আমরা ঢাকা মাস
Oh my God.
সবাই আসে। পালাইছে হাসিনা পালাইছে পালাইছে পালাইছে।
All right, I'm back, guys. Guys asking about my Spanish, man. I don't speak no damn Spanish. They go, they police and military. I say, fuck them. Shit. Right. White power structure's been going around the world with the IMF, World Bank, trying to lock down, steal everybody's resources before they shit collapse. People are saying, fuck that.
এটা ভুল হইতেই পারে, কিন্তু ভুল যখন হয়, ভুলটা রিয়েলাইজ করার পর ক্ষমা চেয়ে নিলে মানুষ ঠান্ডা হয়। এই দেশের জনগণকে যদি তারা ঠান্ডা না করতে পারে, এটা গরম হইতে থাকবে হইতে থাকবে হইতে থাকবে।
I'm tired, goddammit. My stomach is touching my backbone. I'm tired. I'm hungry. Give me no dumbass speeches all the time. I'm starving out here.
নামে রাস্তায়
Chung chung bum I'm hungry.
আপনারা এটা আছেন, একটু বাইরে জনগণের পাশে একটা নাম দিবেন।
I'm translating for you, Maria.
তার ভাষা মানুষ কতটা ক্ষিপ্ত।
Hungry, goddammit.
Itong Gwen.
হোটেলের মন্ত্রীরা সব চলে গেছে, আপনারা অপেক্ষা থাকেন। 5টা বাজে আমরা গণভবনে যাচ্ছি। গণভবন থেকে যদি শেখ হাসিনা
He tell you, how am I gonna pay for bride price? And I'm broke. What kind of bride I'm gonna get? Bride price. I'm broke. I ain't got no money to get no bride.
কিন্তু আমরা চাই যে এই সরকার মনে করেন পদত্যাগ করুন এবং এই দেশটা সুন্দর মিলে আবার যে আমরা আগের মতো চলাফেরা করতে পারি, এই জন্যই আজকে আমরা রাজপথে এসেছি।
Yeah. He tell you he ain't got no money to get no comb to comb his beard. You got no money. See how my beard all fucked up?
একদম লাইন অফ ফায়ারে থাকেন না।
আমাদেরকে দমিয়ে রাখার ছাত্র কারণ নাই। আমরা যদি একবার রুখে দাঁড়াই, আমরা ইনশাআল্লাহ বাংলাদেশের স্বপ্ন করেই ছাড়বো। আর সেনাবাহিনীর যেসব ভাইয়েরা আমাদেরকে বাধা দিতে চেষ্টা করবে, আপনাকে বলতে চাই, আপনারা দয়া একবারে শরীরতার সহযোগী হবেন না। আপনারা হয় জনতার কাতারে নেমে আসুন, নয়তো নিরপেক্ষ থাকুন।
That's good, Seto. You ain't got to show no more if you don't want to. You know they overthrew the government. and thousands died doing it. So
They do
what?
what?
I said, you don't have to show no more if you don't want to. It's up to you. But we know they overthrew the government, the people, and thousands died doing it.
And what I've realized with that, with Bangladesh, actually, many of its citizens ride those bicycles. I'm not seeing very many cars apart from the government vehicles, those army vehicles, but I'm seeing a lot of bicycles. I'm not seeing very many cars and motorcycles,
No,
but people
no,
travel so
no.
much by
They're
bicycle.
they're a poor country. Central. They don't have a lot of cars in Bangladesh. They're a very poor country.
Because apparently in Uganda, it is very rare to find a border which is a bicycle. It is very rare. Let it be a village.
যাচ্ছে হচ্ছে প্রধানমন্ত্রীর
And
বাসভবনের
what
দিকে।
I've seen, it's
আপনারা
like
জায়গা
the
ঘেরাও
prime
যখন
minister
এরপরটা
resigned and
শুনতে সে
freed
আছে
the
কিনা
country today.
সম্ভবত সে নেই। বাংলাদেশ এই 14
Pause that.
বছর
Say it
পর
again now. Pause it.
স্বাধীন
I couldn't
হয়।
hear you. Just you got pause. What he saying? Pause it. What'd you say?
The prime minister of Bangladesh resigned and freed the country today.
I told you. He fled. They fled. They went to India. Yeah, they overthrew the government. He fled. They're gonna kill his ass. Yeah, he fled. What's he resigned? He was gonna be fired. He was gonna resign. He was getting overthrown. He was getting removed from power anyway.
So people are no longer, of course, people no longer fear the intimidation that is brought, of course, by the government in form of army. You know, whenever protests go on, actually, presidents in countries, different African countries, like they react very fast and, of course, send off armies into the cities. They send the army, the police, so that people can be frightened. But people are getting, shit, people don't understand that now. People are coming to realize like these people, like the hand lies in the power of the people.
Yeah. So people realize that there's nothing you can do. Once the people lose their fear, they lose their power. So that's why they must always must keep your fear. African people fear everything. You consider the scariest people on the planet. That's why it's hard to have change in Africans. Africans are all scared. They believe in the thing. And it's got also something to do with that religion, that hell shit. Oh, am I going to hell? Will I die in Jesus? And the Bangladeshis don't believe in none of that shit. Like, fuck that. I die, whatever. But my grandkids and my kids are going to be free. Fuck this. We're not living under this tyranny no more. So, yes, once you realize you are the people and power resides in the people, nothing they can do. There's no military center that can stop you. Because you have the numbers. There's no military. First, some of you are going to die. That's the cost of freedom. But because he knew they were going to kill his ass, right? That's why they flew to India. Because he killed too many of the protesters. So, like I'm saying, if Uganda ever gets his shit together and unites and get rid of all the goofy tribal shit and put it on goods and take it out, there's nothing but seven of them can do. There's no military that can stop the Ugandan people. No military that can stop the Nigerian people. There's no military that can stop the Kenyan people. But you know that brings power back in the people because real power has always lied in the people, Central, but they made them scared and not knowing that the power is you, not them. So people are kept scared and ignorant on purpose. So you won't overthrow these despots. Or
So wake up. And the biggest thing that the biggest problem actually African countries have, to me, whenever there is something, whenever they are cooking something, when it is about to get ready, it is interfered by the so-called international actors or the white people. It is interfered. At times, it is interfered.
Of course.
People have
No,
organized protests to end the government. Now you see these white people coming out to lie these people. Now everything
because the man,
flops in the middle because these people they always look for a side to which they are going to support in exchange for their goals.
yeah, I understand because there's no place on the planet more important than Africa. Bangladesh is not as important as Africa to white people. White people must hold Africa at all costs because it's their wealth. Africa is the Europeans' wealth. They must hold Africa at all costs. Everything can change the world, but their relationship towards Africa, they make sure it can never change because that is their wealth. And they've always known that.
So so apparently, actually, Bangladesh has a lot of people. Where I looked at those people, they are very many. When you look at them, they are very many. Actually, not Bangladesh. Even different African countries have such people. But I won't say they are cowards, but people have fear. People have grown with fear within themselves. I don't know whether it has been created by the legacy actually different countries have gone through. Because when you look at countries that have had the governments, military governments over, it is very rare to find successful protests within those countries. Apart
Well,
from
they
Nigeria, they're trying.
well they feed them a steady diet of fear and ignorance.
Mm. Yeah, when you go to Rwanda, we can't see any successful protests. Though people tried protests, we protest
No, they
within
don't.
Rwanda.
They don't have any protests because why? Because they live in the island. Kagame has made them known that I'm the dick. They're all scared, etc. It's a police state. Rwanda have grown, and remember, you raising a community of fear because you know if you step out of line, what's going to happen. So you haven't been able to unite. Most of the people they know they can't stand Kagame ass. So, but he's a dictator. So until you get past the fear, that's hard to do. It's hard to get past the fear and unite. It's hard to unite people under a dictatorship because what Kagame's done now, because technology is better, he's got all kind of listening devices that can listen to everybody's cell phones. Same way like what Museveni's got right now in Uganda. All cell phones are being listened to. All communications are being spied and listened to. All of them in Uganda.
Mm.
Kagame's got that technology too. We're right harder. But what happens with shit like that, when Africa wasn't so fucked up with all these puppets, had a real democracy, external forces would collapse Uganda and Rwanda because the external forces would be too powerful for freedom, and that would overthrow these countries. But since all of Africa is set up with puppets, that's not possible. That's why you see it was possible to overthrow these corrupt governments in the Sahel. Because when one fell, they were all close to each other. And so these uh, strides for freedom were going across the border. That's what they're scared. So if you get a Kenya that's free and a Tanzania that's free again, that will resonate in Rwanda and might cause a revolution. And that's scary. That's why you must control all countries around your puppet state.
So in reality, democracy is just propaganda to make people stupid.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
a lot of people, you'll find a lot of people. Someone will tell you that Yes, you talk about like Seven has been in, of course, in power for a long time, but this is a person that has been organizing elections. Why don't you vote for him? Why don't you vote him out? And of course, we get a new president. So it's because of the democracy propaganda that is within, of course, people's mind.
Exactly, said though. I don't care what Maria said. The seven is not run these elections. Not 40 years. I don't care. Maybe the first two, he ain't run no election no 40 years. Nah, I don't believe that shit. I don't care how stupid.
People vote because they are
I don't.
afraid. People
That's
don't
true.
want to have
That's true.
wars. People don't have to. I told you whenever we are going to have elections here, you see, uh, of course, them parading all the military weapons, the
Wow.
tank, and
Let's
all
keep you busy.
that.
See. So Maria's saying that's true. So they parade the military. Yeah, so that's to keep fear. So that's right. Yeah.
So
I
that's
didn't
why
know he
they
was
do
doing
that.
that. Yeah, that's fear.
Mhm. Well, of course, we a lot of African countries have experienced bad leadership or bad governance,
That's all.
and
Most all black African governments, all black African countries have bad leadership. All. 'Cause that's on purpose. You some all. Go ahead. Go ahead.
recently, of course, everyone, because from you can hear from the streets, and everyone is tired. Like apparently, people want change, but from the point of view of people and the government and the security personnel and those who swore to protect the people, it is quite the opposite, you know. And a country, let me say, for example, like Uganda, that has a lot of vibrant youths, and I believe there is nothing that, nothing that can fail, because we have seen some demonstrations being successful here. I remember there is a time when the president tried to stop Innosetu's regional king from crossing to a certain area, and actually the entire Kampala was on fire at that time. Now that means people can take action.
They can.
But
If you can, you're right, Maria. But if you can translate that into countrywide like a Bangladesh did, it must certainly be gone tomorrow. The whole thing is, can you, because that was their kingdom, so they gonna go for their kingdom. But can you put that unity Ugandan wide? Then you can make change. So you're right. You're capable of doing it, but
and
can
when
you
you look
come
at
together with unity?
Uganda is a country that is not so tribal. People are not so segregated according to their tribes, because people have that bond. Ugandans themselves have that bond with each other. But now the issue is they are failing to find the right person who can deliver this to the people and who can lead the crowd, because everyone who is coming seems to be selfish. They have a lot of
Yep.
interest behind.
It has to be. It has to be
Everyone,
leaderless. It has exactly right, Maria. It has to be leaderless, like Kenya, like Bangladesh. It has to be the youth have to be the leader, not a person. The youth. Nobody's a leader. Everybody's a leader. Not one leader. Everyone. That's how you sustain it. Can't be one person. It has to be everyone. Who's the
now,
leader? The youth is the leader.
listen, recently when we had that, of course, that protest that you guys were talking about that's going to happen in Uganda and so on and so forth, you would see other people trying to take advantage of the situation.
Wow.
Before even this came in, everyone was claiming I'm right behind this. And the moment you do that, it's already a failure because not everyone loves you. Not everyone wants to join your crowd. So that is
Yeah,
the problem that actually a lot. And then secondly, we have unfortunately, this is going to be so absurd, but it's true. We have a lot of ignorant youths in the country. A lot
that's
of
on
people who are
purpose. That's all of
yes,
Africa. That's all of
yes,
Africa,
yes.
Maria.
The youths who are fighting for useless things. The youths who will stand up to fight for things with no purpose. Because I don't see, there are a lot of things that are actually going on. Apparently, if you look at Uganda as a country, 75% of the youths in Uganda are being raised by their parents because their mothers. You understand? Because
Single
at
mother.
certain time they lost a lot of men died in Uganda through the Northern War and HIV/AIDS. Okay,
Yeah.
so you realize that most of the population, these people are being raised by their mothers,
Uh
and
oh.
and actually, and when you look at the biggest population of the youths who are in the city, most of them are taking care of themselves. You see someone who is like 20, you are supposed to be taking care of yourself. You have to
Yes.
find yourself a house and a job and all that and stuff, but the biggest issue is most of these people are not mentally exposed to their rights. That is one. They don't know which one is my right. They
I agree. I agree with you, Maria. That's on purpose. That's why you're right. That's what these African despots do. That's on purpose to make sure that their people are not educated. It's always easier to suppress, control, and rule an ignorant population.
Mhm. These most of them don't know their rights. Now, secondly, most of the youths don't even know what they need. Like they don't know because you cannot stand on
That's
the
honest.
streets and then you're fighting about something that actually is not important to you. You don't know
It's
what
true.
your needs are. You don't know what you want to be you don't know what you need as a man or a young youth to be successful. Now, if we are living in a community that is extremely ignorant in that kind of way, it is very hard for you to have an impact on the
It is.
mind of those people because actually what they are fighting for are the
It
little
is.
things that can be
You're right.
delivered anytime.
You're right. Rice, a bowl of rice, soup, shit like
Okay?
that. You're right.
Someone is fighting for data. Uganda does not own any network system, and then you are trying to, of course, demonstrate because they have increased a little percentage on the data because all you want is to sit on Facebook, all right? And you are not
Damn.
complaining about the lack of medicine in the hospitals because you
Wow.
don't think you're going to fall sick tomorrow. There are things that can unite both the young and old. And Ugandan youths are not addressing these things. Actually, they don't know
How,
that they need to address
I
it.
know, but how the hell I be seeing some really smart people in Uganda? It was that bad, Maria. God damn.
Smart people are there. Smart people are really there. But like I say, people need to be consciously awakened. People need to understand because if you speak big grammar, and the issue is if you speak big grammar to
You
these
lose people.
other young people, they will never understand. You need to get a catchword for you to make sure that they understand. You need to get something that they're going to understand that creates a bigger impact that the illiterate and the literate are going to feel, and of course understand that okay, here I'm concerned. We have seen first of all, we have issues in the hospitals of Uganda. But I can say there are few the moment you see some youths in the city going to those kind of hospitals, that is when they are at the verge of death. Okay? They don't
Yeah.
even go there because they don't know. So their friends, because most of the time you see those young people, their friends are taking them to the hospital, they're unconscious, and they're that they don't even go to hospitals. So as you are trying to explain issues, we don't have drugs, they don't know. They don't know. We don't have, you see, they don't know because people who are usually talking about these issues are probably people who are taking care of others who are sick or they have been there, but the
And what
majority of people.
and question, Maria, then what issue can we can we bring to unite the youth then? What issue is there that they would know and understand?
One,
I
the
don't.
biggest issue that should be brought is unemployment. Because whether
Okay,
someone is educated or not, they need employment.
yeah, that's true. Okay, there you go.
It is unemployment, and the majority of the people don't address this issue. They don't take it so serious. We have got a lot of young youths who have graduated from universities and they are hawking clothes. They are selling bananas on the streets. These are with all their
Right?
degrees and
Agree.
all their.
Same shit in every country. Same shit in Kenya. Same shit in Ghana. Same shit in Nigeria. Degrees and no job.
So when you touch that part, it is very painful for you to have gone to school for all those years and end up being like someone who has never even stepped in the first grade. If you touch such kind of issue, you will realize that everyone is touched. The parents are involved, the children are involved, even the ones who are not educated, because employment is not only about education. You understand? So if
Oh,
this is a very, very big thing that can unite apparently everyone, people are very tired and very angry.
that, that's
We
gotta
have
be the.
got we
That's
have got
gotta be
a lot
the.
of
Go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead. I'm
Now
sorry.
I
Go
said
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Maria.
we have got a lot of youths who have actually given up. They don't even want to know about anything because of they are floating on
About
the street.
they lost hope. So it's a
Now
sense of
people
hopeless. It's a
need,
sense of hopelessness.
because a country like Uganda, you cannot be talking about food, by the way. You cannot be talking about hunger. There is no hunger here. You cannot be talking about issues of food. No, 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 no. That one you can't address that because Ugandans are having food.
But that's
Whether
good.
in
That's
whichever
good because most
situation.
that's great because 70 was smart as that because most Africans are hungry. So you can't say that about Ugandans. That's what's
No,
kept
we
his ass
can't.
in power because food. Eventually, people are like, man, fuck it, I'm hungry, I'm starving. So that don't even work in Uganda because Uganda's got food. Okay, shit.
And I guess this is also one of the reasons that keeps people so reluctant. It
Yeah,
could be because it could be one of the
it
reasons
is.
that is keeping
It
people
is. It is,
reluctant.
Maria, because it is. Because people in Kenya are hungry. People in Nigeria are hungry. They don't have access to the same kind of. Their agriculture is not as robust. The agriculture has been destroyed. Uganda luckily was able to keep its agriculture past, like you going to the farm with your parents and your brothers. So there's still an abundance of food. So yeah, so that yeah, yeah, it's hard to die. You're right. I hate to say it's hard to give up your life, Maria, on a full stomach. I'm not hungry, goddamn it, shit. Shit is fucked up, but I'm not hungry.
Yeah, true. I think this is one of the reasons why people are so reluctant because
Yes,
in
that's it.
Uganda
That is it, Maria. That's it. That is you better believe that's it. Because hunger moves you to action. You might say, I ain't got no job, but goddamn, I'm still eating shit. You're right.
so that is it. Um so we need that. Unfortunately, like I said, even when someone is complaining in Uganda, someone complains with the full stomach.
that's,
Around
what I'm, that's what I'm
the
talking about. That's what I'm talking about, Rick. It's hard to make people to move on a full stomach. So, Uganda is one of the few African places that is, yeah, that makes Uganda very special, very different. So, yeah, it's gonna be hard to unite. That was it's one of the few places in Africa where you protest on a full stomach. It just don't resonate. I ain't worried about that shit. I'm still hungry. I'm still full. So, but other African countries is different. Their stomachs is touching their backbone. So they're like, oh man, I gotta get out in these goddamn streets, you know? Shit. I ain't Uganda. Shit, I ain't. And somebody, and Irritant over there, and also, uh, the Maury told me that because he said one thing Uganda got is a lot of, ain't like Kenya. Uganda got a lot of goddamn food. There's food everywhere. I said, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
true.
So just like,
There is
just like,
food
so
everywhere.
just like Maria said, hard to protest on a full stomach.
Trust me. Laptop
So,
yangu.
so that's it. I think we lost Maria. You got it, Seto. You sitting there with your full stomach. You got a belly full of crickets right now, Seto.
And, and actually, even actually other countries who are expecting, of course, to protest or demonstrate over bad governance stuff, let them address real issues that happen in their countries.
True.
Let people address issues that are happening there in their countries, because there are a lot of actually people that have been threatening to protest in different African countries. But do you think the issue are actually the same issues that were in Kenya, the issues that we have had, of course, in Bangladesh and Nigeria, are they the same issues you're going through?
Yeah, because it's all installed by the IMF. You know, because the policies of the IMF and the World Bank were installed on Tinubu when he got power. So he implemented these wicked ass policies, but it took the Nigerians looking at Kenyans, when they were about, because they didn't get a chance, they were about to implement it on Kenya, and Kenya said hell no, right, and started to uprise. They'd already implemented it on Nigeria, and they were hurting, of course, but they still were too scared to act on it, right? They were still too in fear. When they finally seen Kenya do it, so they enacted. So yeah, because the policies are the theft of the country to indebt the country and to make its tax dollars go towards the white European banking system. And so, um, but it
Because
that
there is
but,
a
but unlike Uganda, the Kenyans are educated a little more because they had one president, Kibaki, who put in certain forms of education while he was still in power to make sure. I think he knew eventually he didn't want it to happen with him, but I'm sure you enact a certain educational system, it's going to cause revolution. So when he became president, he enacted certain books into the curriculum that's not in nowhere in Africa about revolution and how things work and the monetary system. And so those youth are now the ones now riding in the street in the early 20s because the educational system that they had got enacted during his term, the schools and the books that were brought in to Kenya at that time was going to form a revolutionary mindset and understand what was actually being done to them. So the powers that be in Kenya didn't realize that the youth had already ingested all that knowledge because they were just used to Africans always being stupid. See, these despots, 70, even though they know that people are stupid. Don't think that the despots don't know that the people are lacking, Seto. They know they're ignorant, and they don't mind that because that keeps them in power. It helps them rule. So they got no problem with the people being ignorant. It benefits them. Because the ignorant people are not going to uprise, like just like Maria said. They don't know what the fuck is going on. They don't know. They don't understand they're being cheated and what the hell. They don't know anything. And just like Maria said, if you're uneducated and you're still getting fed like Uganda, you're still eating. So hell, what's the purpose of you getting in the streets? You don't feel nothing's wrong anyway, and you might not have a job, but damn, you ain't hungry. You know, different than other African countries, they actually don't have a job and hungry. So the thing, because with Kenya, it unraveled everything, just like Bangladesh, because the countries are corrupt at their core. Like all African countries are corrupt at the core. The leaders in there, you can't call them leaders, they're all thieves, they're all despots and thieves. I would call them pirates. So as Kenya erupted, all the criminality started coming out. That they didn't know it was as worse as, I mean, because they weren't educated. No, they knew it was bad. They didn't know it was as worse as it was, the complete selling out of a country, the complete stealing and robbing of a country. How these other politicians all got rich and they never built shit, never invented shit, never created shit. So where's your wealth? So now they're asking to be accountable. Show us where your wealth comes from. And these politicians can't do that because it's all stolen wealth. So it's going to bring down the Kenyan government because you can't put the genie in the bottle. The Kenyan youth are too educated. Just doing this process, they become too educated and understand how Kenya really works now. They're like, oh shit. They actually tell you, we never had control of Kenya. No. We from Jomo, we never had Kenya. It's always the white people. They starting to understand that. There's no country in Africa ever got any independence. That's all fake. They've always been, colonialism never left. It just became neo-colonialism. It's a more sophisticated way of still controlling Africa. Because to let Africa go, Seto, means white people go back to being poor. They're not willing. I'm not willing to go back to being poor. They're not willing, Seto, to go back to being poor. They're not willing to say, hey, we've been stealing from you Africans, maybe we should stop. They don't believe that. They say, shit, we're going to keep on stealing as long as we can, goddammit, shit. Africa's made us rich. We're not going to just give Africa back to you. Even though they know they couldn't fight you no more because they got depleted in World War II, so they couldn't physically fight you. But they knew the African wasn't smart enough to stop their schemes and their banking schemes and put them in all these bad negotiations that kept all the wealth still going up to the Europeans. And they know the African not being smart, as Maria said back then, they can always play to your vanity. Don't you want to be the big man, Sendo? Don't you want to be the boss? Fuck all your people. They sorry anyway. We're going to make you rich. You're like, yeah! And that's what you've been dealing with in Africa. It's really, it's criminal as hell. So they've set up these systems to make sure also that they keep their puppets in power. Your militaries, all that shit's funded by the West. Your police, remember, there was no police in Africa. All these police things are all created by your Europeans. Africa didn't have no police. It didn't need any because there was no criminality because you were all wealthy. You come from the richest continent in the world, etc. So there was no poverty in Africa. So you never had any police. You didn't have any jails, Seto. Can you imagine? I know you see jails now under Museveni, and Africa never had prisons, Seto. You never had no prison. You never had no need to lock anybody up. You never had a prison in Africa or jail cell. You never had police. Those are all European institutions. You didn't have criminality in Africa. Why? Like Maria said, imagine when you control that, get all the food you wanted, get everything you wanted. Shit. Why would you steal? You had no reason to steal. You come from the richest continent on the planet. So you didn't have no reason to steal nothing from nobody. Steal for what? Now you've been put in poverty by the Europeans because they stealing from you. That's why Africa's so, the poverty's so bad now. Because they stolen the wealth from the continent. They made Africans now dumb, indoctrinated them with dumbing you down for the last 200 years since the Berlin Conference. That's to benefit them, you know. So that's that's what you're looking at. So these other African nations, the people have been scared. That's why they ran off to other countries, ran off to England, getting on them boats, dying in the Sahara Desert, jumping on the boats, dying in the Mediterranean. Instead of saying, hey, understand we're the power. Why we keep running to other countries that don't like us, getting jobs that suck because the people don't like us here. Why haven't we banded together to overthrow the corrupt governments that the European put in power? Because we're too busy looking at Instagram. Look how they live. They live good. Look how good it is. Look how Asia look. Look how Europe and America looks. You haven't been told that's because they've been stealing from Africa. That's why they look good. They built their civilizations off the back of Africa and Africans, literally. The wealth of the planet center for the last 600 years has been all from Africa. All the theft of Africa. 600 years. Imagine how crazy that sounds. How crazy? 600 years. The whole world's wealth comes from Africa. Either the enslavement of African labor or the stealing of African resources and the country. Literally. That's crazy. Literally. The world's wealth all came from Africa. Literally. I have that literally all the wealth of Africa. Crazy. And the Africans get what? No respect. Get disrespected, treated like shit everywhere. And the world's wealth is dependent on the African. Absolutely crazy. Go ahead, Seth, you got it.
So and actually it is the same reason actually whenever actually these leaders, whenever leaders are coming in for campaign, they normally do what is called stomach infrastructure. They come out with food, they bring salt to people, they bring sugar to people so that they can bribe them, of course, to remember them. But when people are fighting for what they really understand, they fight it with a lot of confidence. Um, I was looking here, actually, in 1962, Uganda's economy was growing at the rate of approximately 6.7 per year. In
Wow,
contrast, the
big.
United States experienced a GDP growth rate of around 6.1 during the same year. So, while both countries had strong economic growth in 1962, Uganda's growth rate was slightly higher than that of USA. So, that was the time Uganda got independence. But you can't even put these two countries, Uganda and USA, now at the same plate. We can't sit at the same plate with USA. Neither
No.
can we even use the same bathrooms with USA. Because of the leaders that we have here that of course that ended, of course, our colony that tried to fight, of course, to get independence in different African countries, and later embraced neo-colonialism in the coming years. So this is becoming actually the root cause of the corruption that we are seeing here in Africa. Someone will tell you that we are going to embezzle a lot of money from that, expecting a loan from IMF, expecting a loan from the World Bank, expecting a lot from a certain organization outside Africa. Yet these organizations, yet these countries that of course that give money, that give loans to different African countries, these loans are not actually for free. But a lot of people, a lot of course, presidents in Africa, they have sold out. They have sold out a lot of things in Africa. They have sold a lot of things out of Africa. So, talking about the issue of food, like if at all African countries can understand, actually, can of course be educated about actually what we really go through. They protest on what we actually protesting on things that really happen in our daily lives, understanding how things move. Actually, I think it is the best way to achieve a revolution. If we are to have a revolution, of course, in different Africa, let it be here in Uganda. I normally watch a lot of protesters here in Uganda. Protesting here in Uganda is normally for diplomats. It is not for people. It is normally for diplomats. Someone will go on, or actually on online. Actually, we were watching actually the other time we had a show with Jobbies, Kamlesh, and others. Wow, someone was online saying that we are on ground protesting. Yet someone was in his car. So there is no way that person will understand the corruption that is going on in the country. He's driving, yeah. He's even not angry. He's this kind of. When we go back to Nigerian protesting, I was looking at, of course, the reactions of different of course, artists in Nigeria. There is an artist, I won't mention their names here, but there is an artist who said, "For me, I'm rich. Protesting is for poor people." That's what the guy said. That for him is rich. Protesting is for poor people. And so many artists. Even another artist who said that for him he can't engage in protesting. His well is like he's talking like he's well like.
But artists set them.
Like I was saying that there is a certain artist, like when in Nigerian protests, I was looking at different artists and their reactions to protesting in Nigeria, and different artists were like, for them, they are rich, protesting is for poor.
It sounds crazy. That's how bad. They don't want to protest because they're scared to death they'll lose their money because they know powers that be will come after them, and so they really don't support the people. And if I was the people, I wouldn't support them no more either. Seto, I wouldn't buy no more of their music. I wouldn't go no more of their concerts. I said, you don't support us when we need you, so why should we support you? Why should we support your goddamn business? You know, it does. It doesn't benefit us. Why should we support your music or your film career? When you don't stand in solidarity with us, why should we stand in solidarity with you, making you rich? Why should we do that for? You know. See, once you do that, that's gonna put some act right on some people. I'm gonna force you to act right. So, you know, decide not to support
And
us. Then that means that you'll go broke. Then that's how you'll be one of us eventually because you'll be poor now too, Seto. You're gonna be poor now too. Go ahead.
and when you look at, of course, protesting in Kenya, we saw some, of course, some comedians that have money, that like being on the streets actually couldn't change what they are, or like couldn't add dollars to their wallets and their bank accounts. And they're on the streets in
They
Kenya.
had, they, had, they had no choice because the people told them if they didn't come out, they told them, Seto, you don't come out, we're going to, you're going to be poor too because we're not going to support no more. That's why the musicians all came out. They said the people told them, Seto, if you're not coming out, we're not going to support none of your music no more. So that's what you do. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supporting me, Seto. Why should I support you?
Many of them, they're on the streets. The DJs are looking at the DJs, they're on the streets
That's
in
right.
Kenya.
You still want to work? You better get your ass out in this street. You better.
And when it comes to Uganda, when you look at the entire industry, the music industry of Uganda is corrupted and, of course, is manipulated by the government. You look at prominent musicians in Uganda, they support the government.
Yeah, see,
Many
it's
of them,
scary.
The rich musicians in Uganda, the prominent ones, they supported the government. When you look at the rich people in Uganda, they supported the government.
Of course they do, because they get out, they're all getting fed by the government. They're all scared of the government. See, but that's why see, there's an old saying, Seto. When the people fear the government is corrupt. When the government fears the people, you actually have freedom and democracy. You actually have a democracy because it's the government that's supposed to fear the people because the people are supposed to have the power. So when you have people that fear the government, your government is not a democracy. It's a despot. It's a dictatorship and it's despotic. So that's why in Uganda you don't have a democracy. You don't have a democracy. You have a dictatorship with Museveni because the people fear the government. Any real democracy, the government fears the people because the people are the power, and that's how it's supposed to be. So that's what you're dealing with.
At the end of it, someone like, however much different governments, actually when you look at different constitutions in Africa, they allow protesting. It is okay for you to make a strike, as well as it is a peaceful strike. But at times it is the police actually and the army that make these
Of course,
strikes to.
make them violent because that's on purpose. Exactly. All that peaceful shit is nonsense. Peaceful never turned over nothing. Even if you're peaceful, they still want. Because look at Museveni. You guys were peaceful in Uganda when you held that thing, and the police out there shooting people, locking people up, and that was peaceful. Because that's a scam. That's a lie. It's a scam. You be peaceful. So when you be peaceful, next you know you're still getting shot in the head. So nah. you know.
There is a certain minister for youth in Uganda before Tuesday, the other time when people wanted to protest in Uganda because of corruption. That minister is for youth was like, guys, I know what you're going through. This guy is a very rich boy. He's a very rich guy. Was like, I know what you're going through. I'm also youth. I know what you're going through. I understand, but let's not you go on the streets because you're going to lose your life. Let's confine ourselves in a certain playground. We call the president. We talk. Like we make this thing peaceful so that we don't lose any life. Like I was looking at this guy. This guy is a guy who has a lot of possessions. Besides being young, and his background is a very humble one from a poor background. But within a short time, has gained a lot of wealth.
Yeah, that's the nonsense. That's to get you. That's to calm you down. Same thing they do in America is to calm you down. And I understand your pain. Go back home. Go back home and pray to your God. Shit ever change, Seto.
So, there are a lot of countries that are like Uganda, but there is something I've seen with what is called a revolution. Actually, I just studied about revolutions in school stuff, but actually, the only revolution I learned about in school was the French Revolution.
Always white people shit. Always crazy.
It was the French Revolution. It is the revolution I know about Marie Antoinette and King Louis the 60 stuff.
Yeah, that's that's Queen King Louis and Marie Antoinette. God damn. So he's in Africa learning about the French Revolution. You can't make this up. Not no revolution in Africa, but in France.
That is, that is
Crazy.
the that is the revolution I learned about in school. Because they don't teach us African history. We learn what like we learn we learn Western history, like history of the French, Austria, some bit of USA, little, very little. We learn even that USA war, that led to independence in USA. I remember those things. I learned I learned about them in school some years back. But that is what is taught in school. Like you can't learn about African history. No one. They will just give you just hints. But we learned detailed information about, about
That's
their
on purpose.
history.
That's on purpose. That's on purpose. That's on
Yeah,
purpose, Seto.
uh, but actually, I wanted to ask my teacher when I was still in high school, like, why do we learn this history now? For what? For what? Now this history for what?
Because I told you to, Seto. That's for what.
And when we learn about African history, there is what is called African nationalism, but it is not so detailed. When Africa got independence, who championed the independence, how did they
That's on,
fight, what led to
that's on
fighting?
purpose. But that's on
They
purpose.
will
They don't want you to get your ideals so you learn how to do it again. Exactly. Why would your history be taught how you got independence, how you had to fight this British? Because they don't want you to know it. They don't want you to do it again. you know,
now, now within that African nationalism, there are points that of course those people that fought for independence, there is a way they will create stories and relate them with the French Revolution. You know, they were inspired by the French Revolution. They
that's
learned
true.
about French
Because there are takeaways that you can get from the French Revolution when a country like France becomes so despotic and you got to overthrow the monarch. But actually, it was the French Revolution. Now is not what you think it is, right? Same people that run the world through these banks. It was the banks orchestrated. This is what the book never tell you. It said so. It was the people that run the banks, right? They wanted to get rid of all the monarchs because they wanted complete control of the world. They said, we got to get rid of these kings. So if you start looking, you'll see all the monarchs of Europe starting getting overthrown. France, then they got Germany, then they overthrew what they called Austro-Hungarian Empire. Then they overthrew the Russian Empire.
Mm.
So they overthrew all these places so they can have unfettered access to Europe and the rest of the world because I can't control the world. I guess they got kings talking about they got the power of the country. Motherfucker, I'm the power, god damn it. I make the money, I'm the power, so these kings are getting in my way of my power, Seto. So I'm gonna overthrow them. But the books will never tell you that. They tell you, oh, it just happened organically, they were upset. No. It was the bankers. And look this up, Seto, real quick. Ask Google, say Macron, say Prime Minister of France, Macron. How long did he work for the Rothschild? How long did he work for the Rothschild banking family? So when I tell you it's the Rothschilds that started these revolutions, you'll understand the truth, not that shit you read in that fake history book. That's a lie. How long did how long did President Macron work for the Rothschild banking family? And Rothschild is spelled Wothchilds. Rothschilds. Rothschild.
They say that when Emmanuel Macron told friends in 2008 he was joining the Rothschild,
Okay,
the
so
prestigious investment bank, the then
yeah,
30-year-old
so I
was
want you to
born.
know. Seto. He's one of the families that run the world. The Rothschild family or the banking family that overthrew Louis the 16th. They're the ones who kept the British royals in family. You go to Britain, they got something called the City of London, controlled by the Rothschilds. It's the Rothschilds that overthrew all these kings of Europe because they wanted complete control, Seto. Then they came over to America and took over America. Okay, is that see? You never heard that in your French Revolution class, did you? That's why Macron is
Um,
president today because the Rothschilds put him in power in France. They control France, England, Spain, all of Europe. But you never learned that in any of your French Revolutionary class, did you?
about French Revolution, Napoleon, uh,
Hmm.
there's some kings from Russia, the king, the Tsar Nicholas,
That's all.
the first stuff, second, a lot of a lot of a lot of things. Like so, whenever now when we came
I
back,
lo-
like I was saying,
you
when we
learned
came back to
you
African
learned you
nationalism,
learned that you learned a lot of rubbish.
and they're still teaching it. They are still teaching it.
Of course, you haven't got power. You got a puppet in there, Seto. I'm not gonna teach you real history. Real history is dangerous. You'll get empowered by real history, Seto, and you'll want to overthrow people like Museveni with real history. That's why you're giving false history. You're giving rubbish. That's why you're still taught in Uganda that Leopold was a good man. One of the most one of the most wickedest motherfuckers in history. You still taught in Uganda he's a good man. God damn. Even now, even when you told me that, Scepter, even that surprised me. I was like, what? God damn. There's not many places, Scepter, in the world where you'll have a history class saying Leopold was a
And
good man.
and there is no way the history that we learn in Africa, there is no way it criticizes these white people. Even when you're sitting in an history class, you're learning about missionaries, you're learning about Arabs, you're learning about whoever. There is no way you'll make a
See,
judgment
I,
and
see, I want you guys to hear Scepter. That's why I want you guys to hear Scepter. This is how why African's mind is so fucked up. He's taught to love everybody else and hate himself. And Scepter's telling you, not even taught how to critically think. How to talk to the European came and fucked you up. You taught all kind of good things, all lies. They were missionaries. No, they were called goddamn mercenaries. Change the name from missionary to mercenaries. They wasn't missionaries. They were mercenaries. Kill, rob, and steal, and rape. So, if you don't know that history, you'll be content in now being poor. You don't even know that your people were rich at one time. That's not in your history book. You think you was always poor and fucked up. Well, I'm poor, I'm fucked up. African people, we behind and stupid, we're all poor and fucked up. Because you got no idea of your own even history no more. How about Chinese people and Russian people can come in, you'll worship there, raise their flag and everything else. Because without real history, you got no sense of self. What did you do? What did you accomplish? All your history teach you about white people, white Arabs, what they done. What did you do as an African? Your history is teaching you that you got no history, that your African never done shit. So how's that? How can you be proud of never doing shit? You can't be. It's a lie. That's what you're taught. You know. That's why history's so important. It's not taught to you. You learn about goddamn the French Revolution, but not how it really started. you know. Say, ask this question. Let's see. They got ask this question. Say, say, do the Rothschild family control the banks of France? And then you'll know from there who caused the French Revolution. Say, do the Rothschild banks control France? The answer is yes. They created the. They didn't. They wouldn't know. We're going to just overthrow the king. The The Rothschild said we're gonna overthrow this motherfucker. That's what happened, Seto, and put Napoleon ass in power. Then when they put Hitler in power, I tell you, Hitler was a bad man. Who put him in power? The Rothschilds did. They never tell you that part because they write the history. Oh, Hitler was so bad. Hitler. Well, who put Hitler in power? Who funded him? Oh, the Rothschilds. Yeah. But they never tell you that part. Say, does the Rothschild still control the banks in France? The answer is yes. So through the banks in France, they control what? Africa. Because they use the CFA franc, the French franc in West Africa. That's the Rothschild's money.
Unfortunately, Google is not responding to this, but it is telling me different things. It is showing me that
Of course,
that
it's gonna lie
the
now.
Rothschild banking family of France is the French branch of the Rothschild family
Exactly.
and was
The French
founded in
is right.
1812.
You're right. That's right. It's the French branch because they own all the banks on the planet now. Seto. They're fucking Mercedes boss. The Rothschild. Yeah. They own all banks on the planet now. Seto. Not just France no more. Them and a few other families. Them, the Rockefellers, the Warburgs own these banks. See, like when you look at the American dollar, the American government don't own the American dollar. The Rothschilds do. The Rockefellers do. And the JP Morgans. They're like, oh, this is the American dollar. It ain't controlled by no Americans. It ain't the American government that owns it. It's these banking families that own it. They got control of America back in 1913 when they opened their bank here in America. And our dollar's controlled by them. It says U.S. government. Ain't no U.S. government behind that shit. Ask this question real quick, Seto. Say, does the Rothschild family have ownership in the Federal Reserve Bank? And that's the Bank of America. So ask Google this real quick. See what they say. Say, does the Rothschild family have ownership in the Federal Reserve Bank of America? They're going to say, oh, it's a bunch of different corporations. yeah, them being one of them. How they own banks in America, France, England, all throughout the world. Say, did the Rothschild family have ownership in the Federal Reserve Bank of America?
Google isn't responding as the real.
Of course. It's hiding it now. Of course. What does it say?
It's saying that a Rothschild family, while historically significant in banking, does not have ownership or control over the Federal Reserve of other central banks. So the institutions are public or owned or have a blend of public and private characteristics.
And there's a public and private nonsense. There's no goddamn public ownership. It's all private by these families. And yeah, it's the Rothschild family, Seto. So now, remember, they also own Google. So they lied. They own Google too, Seto. Yeah, they own Google. They own Facebook. Yeah.
They also said that this is false. They say that the Rothschild family owns 80% of the world's wealth. That is false. That is from Google.
Yes, they try to say it's false, and they do. It's not false. They own Google. They're the ones to tell these lies. They want you to know now. Too many people starting to know. They own all the central banks on the planet. Say, nah, they don't own them. Say, okay, do this real quick. Do this real quick. Say this is how you go around their lives. Let's see if they bring this up. I want you to type this like this. Say, 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 who were the banking interests? Put this in Google. Say, who were the banking interests? Who were the banking interests on Jekyll Island? Jekyll would be Jekylle.
On what?
Jekylle. Jekyll. Jekylle. Who were the banking interests on Jekyll? Jekylle. Jekyll Island. They say who were the banking interests on Jekyll Island? See what they say. And there's going to be J.P. Morgan, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. See, this is when they were creating the Federal Reserve, Seto. Since they lied, they got nothing. That is when they was creating the shit, creating the goddamn criminal bank. So what are they saying?
They're saying that it's like it is referring to a secret meeting of Jekyll Island.
That's right. Secret meeting. That's right.
They said this meeting involved some of the most influential bankers and financial experts of the time.
Yep. So we know the bankers were the Rothschilds. They're probably going to say that Rothschilds, Rocker. This is when they were creating the Federal Reserve Bank. I said that this is what they just said. They got nothing to do with. This is when they was creating the shit. So they're telling on themselves because you got to know what to look for when they lied to you. So they're telling you there was the most powerful bankers on the island. That's when they created the Federal Reserve Bank, Seto. But go ahead, read the rest of it. So that's them, Seto. That's when they would all come together to create the Federal Reserve, but they say they don't got no control over. They tell you the meeting happened, Seto. That's why the meeting happened. It was in secret. So they're telling you that the meeting did happen, but it didn't create the bank that we know it did create. You get it? That's why they came together, Seto, to create that federal bank in America to have control of the American currency. That's why they got control of the French currency, control of the English currency, control of the German currency. And these are the people that control Africa through the currency. These are the people that own the IMF Bank, Seto, and the World Bank. They created the IMF Bank and the World Bank later. That's them. Same people. That's why you never taught none of this, Seto. You never taught none of this in any of your schools. I'm telling you, Macron worked for the Rothschilds. Why? Why would he work for the Rothschild family if they got no power? Because they're the ones put them in. They are the power in France. They are the power in England. They're the power in Africa. They're the ones put these despots in power, then get rid of their ass with the CIA where they don't do their bidding. They created the CIA, Seto. The ones who overthrew African governments, they created that. Put us up, Seto, real quick. Say, why did the bankers? I'm trying to go around them line. Say, why did bankers create the CIA? Because not gonna give you the names no more. Not gonna say the Rothschilds. I'm just gonna say bankers. Say, why did bankers create the CIA? See what Google says.
I don't know whether they are saying is right.
What are they saying? Let's see what they're
Yeah.
saying.
They're saying that the Central Intelligence Agency CIA was not created by bankers. It was established by the U.S. government in 1947 through the National
The,
Security Act,
the National
primarily to
Security Act
protect the
was put together by the bankers. So they always go now they're trying to lie and teach. Yeah, it's created by the bankers. So so that remember that the bankers now control the government through their Federal Reserve that they did on Jekyll Island. So now they control the government, Seto. So they got pushed. So of course the creation is going to go through the government, but now they got control of the government. So they're going to tell the government to pass this bill to create the CIA. You get it? Because they got control of the government now. So that's why you see them bomb. That's why you see them in Gaza. Remember, okay, let's do this. And I'm see why. This is why you see why nobody is going to prison in Israel, but they commit genocide in Gaza. So I want you to put this up. I'm letting you connect all the dots a little bit here. Understand how the world really works. Okay, I want you to say in 1917. What does it say? Say this, Seto. To Google, not, say
yes.
1917. Hold on for a second. Say, hold on.
It is trying to show us truth here.
Okay. Say in 1917, the Rothschilds signed. The Rothschilds signed, SIGN, signed the Belford, that'd be BELFORD Declaration. In 1917, the Rothschilds signed the Belford, which is BELFORD Declaration. DECLARATION, Declaration. It should pop up. Tell me what you get.
They say Balfour Declaration of 1917. This was a significant letter from the British Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour to Lord Rothschild.
Lord Rothschild, and he was driven them, and he was creating what? Seto. Israel. They just stole that country for the Rothschilds. Israel. So we know that the
So
Rothschilds own Israel. Go ahead.
they say that Lord Rothschild, a leader of the British Jewish community.
That's
The
right.
letter
British Jew. Now you understand. Now you understand. Hold on. You got them in Britain, controlling Britain. You always learned that they was controlling France through their banking scam in France. Go ahead.
They say that the letter expressed the British government's support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine.
Now, if you don't control anything, so why would I give you a whole country that didn't even belong to you? Huh? How can I give you a whole country that never even belonged to you? But they did, because you know why? I'm the Rothschild, goddammit. That's why. That's why. See, same ones fucking around in Britain. Same ones fucking around in America and France. They control all these. The Rothschilds also said to all the ones created your fake China. They also created China. But I'm not gonna prove that to you today. Understand who actually runs the world from behind the scenes. Now you understand what's real history. Now you get real history, Seto. Not that shit. Not that shit you were getting not that shit you were getting in school in Uganda. Now I'm giving you real history that's fucking you up because you're now connecting the dots. You're like, goddamn, how these Rothschilds get in Israel? So remember now, they get to kill people in Israel right now. Nothing's happening to nobody. Why, Seto? What country can just kill their own people like that and don't shit happen? Hundreds of thousands have died. You know why? because they run the world. That's why. That's why. These same people that you learned about, Seto, I'm gonna teach you later. I'm gonna teach you later how they also created China and controlled China. Okay, there's no American fighting China because the same people run and control both of them. Okay, see, you're not supposed to know real history, Seto. You're supposed to be taught your nonsense about the French Revolution and not who actually started the shit. The Rothschilds created the French Revolution, Seto, because they wanted power and complete control of France. I couldn't do that if you got a king. I'm getting rid of you. Only king they allowed to stay in power was what? The British. The British Empire. They allowed them because they can control them. They said, well, they're useful, so we'll allow the British to keep their fake king. But we'll control the country. They can pretend to be a king and all that shit, but we control it. Just like they did in America. We can pretend you got a President Biden, and whoever president you got. We run America, not no goofy president. Because you seen in Jekyll Island, Seto, they were creating the Bank of America, called the Federal Reserve Bank, which they tell you that, no, don't know about it, they don't own it. Yeah, they do own it. That's why they were in Jekyll Island creating it, Seto. Just for me real quick, Seto.
Okay.
Say, go to Google, say, give me, type this in, say, give me an outline of the book, and the name of the book is going to be The Creature. Give me an outline of the book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Jekyll again is Jeckyle. Give me an outline of the book, The Creature. Creature is going to be Creature. The Creature from Jekyll Island. That's the whole book telling you what the hell they did. All right, they created the Federal Reserve Bank. Who did it? The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and since they say they didn't, they you know, it wasn't them, but we know it was them. Tell me what you get, Seto.
All right. I don't know whether this is the right thing this thing has given me, but the
Let's see.
introduction. They said the introduction. The first thing they said the introduction to Jekyll Island. The book begins with a secret meeting in 1910.
Here we go. The secret meeting again. Go ahead. The secret meeting again, which Google said never happened. So we know what happened. Man. The secret meeting again. Seto, go ahead.
On Jekyll Island in Georgia, where a group of powerful bankers and politicians gathered
Powerful
to
bankers
create
again.
a central banking system for the U.S.
That's right. So they're not. So go ahead.
Then the second part of it is the formation of the Federal Reserve.
Federal Reserve. So we connected the dots without Google. So we know it's those bankers, Seto, which Google said it wasn't them who were in Jekyll Island creating the Federal Reserve, Seto. So we know Google's hiding the shit. We just gotta know where to look. We know that's these bankers, the Rothschilds, created the Federal Reserve Bank here, and they got control of America. And if you don't know, when you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna prove it to you. Since we're on YouTube, stay here. I'm gonna stay on YouTube and open this up on YouTube. Say Israel's prime minister gets a standing ovation in the American Congress. He's committed genocide, but all of them got to stand and clap, yay! After he killed innocent men, women, and children. You know why? Because
Israel did what?
say the Prime Minister of Israel on YouTube. I want you to, Prime Minister of Israel gets a standing ovation in the U.S. Congress. He just got that last week. We know that because Israel was created. You now know that Israel was created by the Rothschilds. You now see if the Rothschilds didn't control America, you wouldn't have people standing and cheering for the Prime Minister of Israel as he commit genocide. So I want you to be able to connect the dots. I'm giving you real history here, where you can see for yourself. So you know there was a secret meeting to create the Federal Reserve Bank, Seto. You know that's a fact. Now I want you to see in real time today who actually runs America. Now, there should be a bunch of videos pop up. So the Prime Minister of Israel, you say Benjamin Netanyahu, I don't know how to spell his name, gets a standing ovation in Congress. He just got that. Everybody just cheered for all day like seal, yay, yay. So they let you know who actually runs America, the Rothschild.
Yeah, they are showing him a full speech of the Prime Minister making address to the Congress.
Yeah. No other leader or no other country gets that except Israel. Because Israel was created by the Rothschilds, as you learned in 1917, Seto. And after 1910, when they had the secret meeting in 1913, they created their fake bank in America and got control of America. And through their fake bank, they can hire all these politicians, bribe them, give them power. And that's when they can make the CIA. I mean, the CIA is the one out there stealing Venezuelan oil and overturning governments to make sure the bankers get what? The resources. Then you connect all the dots. They create the CIA. CIA goes to the countries and overthrows them when they what? Don't get their resources set up that the bankers want. You see? Now I'm giving you real history. Not these fake governments. I'm giving the people that actually run the world. That's why the CIA went in and tried to overthrow Venezuela, because they wanted that oil for the bankers. That's why they keep powers in Africa. They want them resources for the bankers. Not for you. IMF, World Bank, started by the same people, said though. Remember the banks come in? IMF, World Bank? Yeah, sure, you can show it. They're all cheering. Yay! You committing genocide and killing innocent people. Yay! Like what? Because America doesn't control America. The Rothschilds do. That's right. You're shooting innocent kids in the head. Yay! Psychopathic, crazy people. Because they're all bought and paid for, Seto, by the Rothschild and the Rockefeller family, who actually run the world. Politicians don't run shit, Seto. They're only puppets to these banker families who've now stolen the world. Let's see about Hitler. Hitler. Who funded Hitler, Seto? You can say their names. Who funded Hitler? The Rothschilds. Rothschilds ever go to prison? Of course not. Who created communism? The Rothschilds. They killed the Tsar, the King of Russia, and they put communism in there. They overthrew the emperor. They got rid of all the kings, like I told you. They got rid of the emperor of China and put communism in there. Who you think built China into a power? The Rothschilds. They got enough money to stop hunger 10 times over on the planet. They don't want to stop anything. They're vicious, psychopathic, wicked motherfuckers. Ask this question, and of course, they don't Google. Of course, they're gonna lie. So whenever you hear these other people, all the richest people on the planet, that's a lie. Elon Musk or Bill Gates, these are all puppets. These are all lies. So let's see. Let's ask Google this question. Say how much is the Rothschild family worth? Let's ask them that. They're gonna tell you it's hidden. But the damn shit in the business of trillions of dollars. So how much is the Rothschild family worth? Let's Google that. See if they tell the truth. They're not gonna tell you the truth. Because say we don't know their wealth. It's hidden and it's not as big as people say. They'll get some
They
bullshit
say
like that.
they say that they are worth 400 billion
More than that.
US dollars.
Now, $400 billion, that's a lie. That's a lie. So that's small. That's a lie. See, they just scared. See, they gonna try to say, ooh, that's a lot, 400 billion. They make a nah. Their wealth is in the trillions of dollars, Central. Trillions. Trillions. Not 400 billion. One person of that family might be worth 400 billion. The family is worth trillions, Central. Trillions of dollars. So at least they odds, at least they gave you 400 billion, what makes them the richest family on the planet. But nah, they're worth way more than that, Seto. But they just told you they're not, they didn't do anything. Now they worth $400 billion then. That's more than all the
Yes, I
GDPs
heard
of all
that
Africa.
those
Good. Oh, I know you're back, Maria. Go ahead, Maria.
I heard that family, within that family they marry each other. They don't allow
Exactly.
outsiders.
No, because that money, that's right. The Rothschilds married the Rockefellers. Well, they got two close families. The Rockefellers and Rothschilds, they're combined. They marry each other. Exactly right, Maria. They don't allow no outside marriages because that wealth must be maintained for their power over the planet. So you have some people that they'll change their name, but you don't know they are like a Bill Clinton who was president. Bill Clinton was really a Rockefeller. And then you say Barack Obama. Barack Obama was really a Rothschild. You didn't even know that, did you, Seto? Barack Obama's a Rothschild. You know why? Through his mother. His mother's a Rothschild. And his mother, and ain't it funny? His grandfather was a CIA agent. But the Rothschilds got nothing to do with the CIA. Ain't that funny? Ain't that funny? How's his granddaddy a CIA agent? This is Barack Obama's grandfather, his white granddaddy is a CIA agent. It's a fact. And his grandmother was an agent. And through his grandmother and his mama, they're Rothschilds. Another fact. So you didn't know that, but his name was Obama. Barack Obama. No, Barack Obama's a Rothschild. You don't know that. I didn't know that till later. Started researching that this no good bastard's a Rothschild. No wonder. No wonder. They put their people in power, change their names. Like Bill Clinton, the president. He was. I know. Let's see. Ask this quick. Go ahead. Google saying what?
Google is saying,
Go ahead.
Google is saying that no, Barack Obama is not a Rothschild. Barack Obama has a diverse ancestry that includes roots in Kenya and Kansas.
Nah, that's the CIA. That's the CIA. Of course, that's the CIA lie. The Steve, remember, he's raised by the CIA. So let's do this. Let's ask this question to Google. See, Google's gonna lie to you. Exactly. We always gotta go around. Let's see. So say was Barack Obama's mother attached to the Rothschild family? Let's ask Google that. See, they lying on it. We know this is fact. I've already researched all. It's all factual what I'm telling you. You know that Kenyan shit is baloney. That's made up bullshit. You know, because we know his stepfather was Lolo Sotoro, who worked for the CIA, a hitman. So we know his granddaddy was CIA. We know his grandmama was CIA. His goddamn stepfather was CIA. So all this shit all leads you right back to the Rothschild. They
They
say
say
Barack. Go ahead. What they say?
they say that was an American banker and a maternal grand, of
Yeah,
course,
a banker again, Seto. A banker. I want you to connect the dots, Seto. A banker. She was a Rothschild, Seto. It's not a coincidence. She was a banker. It's not an accident, Seto. They hide everything, and now everybody's trying to connect the dots. As Maria was just asking right there. Barack Obama was a plant from his birth. From his birth, he was groomed by the CIA. You find pictures of Barack Obama with the Bush family. How the fuck is this nigga from Kenya? He's with the Bush family. President Bush and his family. That's all made up shit by the CIA. So it goes deep. Who actually runs the planet, Seto? They hide behind the scenes, and you're not supposed to know. You're not supposed to know they're the wealthiest people. They tell you, oh, Elon Musk or Bill Gates. These are all puppets of the Rockefellers and Rothschild family. And let me ask this question real quick to Google. Seto, I want to see, because they probably going to say some words, because the Rockefellers have been better at hiding their wealth. Let's see. How much is the Rockefeller family worth? Let's see. They probably say literally nothing. They've been better at hiding their shit. How much is the Rockefeller family worth? Rockfeller.
They say 10.3 billion USD.
10 billion. That's a motherfucking lot. 10 billion. All right. 10 billion. Nah. They're worth trillions of dollars to 10 billion US dollars. Yeah. That's a lie. Another lie. Another lie. Another lie. Straight up. See, they better hide they shit. They just worth $10 billion. That's what they used to tell all of us. Remember, John D. It was David Rockefeller said, "Oh, we're not as rich as people think we are anymore. We're just small. We're just small billionaires." No, you're not. No, you're not. You're a goddamn lie. He said, "We're not as rich as people think we are anymore." They hide behind the scenes, family, because people start figuring shit out. Like, people start figuring all kind of shit out. So we know that's a lie, because we know most of the oil companies on the planet still owned and controlled by them. We know all of Nigeria's oil is controlled by them. So we know. Let me see this. Ask this question, Seto. We know they more than this. How much is they're gonna go independently of every one of the oil companies that they own, all of them. So say how much is Exxon Mobil worth? EXXON, then Mobil. MOBILE. How much is the oil company Exxon Mobil worth? We'll just see.
Net worth.
Net worth, yeah. What's their worth? How much is Exxon Mobil worth?
They say I don't know whether they are giving me they are giving me different things. They are giving me Robbie Zombie, a musician and a filmmaker.
No, Exxon Mobil. Exxon. EXXON, and then then slash and say mobile. Let me look it up myself. I'm gonna tell you myself. Let me look. I'm gonna use my phone real quick. Let me use my phone real quick, Seth. Give me a second. Let me use this. I'm about to use my goddamn phone. Let's see it. How much is the oil company Exxon Mobil worth? $551 billion. We know that's owned by Rockefellers. So they're hiding their money to the company. So Exxon is worth $515 billion. Okay, that's That's one Rockefeller company. Okay, let's see. I know Texaco. I think it's Texaco, Conoco. They own that too. Let me see. How much is the Texaco oil company worth? Texaco, how much are they worth? Let's see. Texaco oil company. How much they worth? Yeah, I ain't get the Chevron yet. They own Chevron too. How much are they worth? God damn it! Just tell me the word. Why did Texaco go out? Oh, okay. So it's owned by now. It's owned by Chevron now. Okay. Okay, my fault. Chevron bought it up, which they own the same thing. Okay. Okay, so Chevron. Okay, and Chevron was what's the Chevron market? So Chevron was worth 273 billion. We know Rockefeller owned that. But I guess Chevron with the other company bought them out. So we'll say so we add that, that's 300 billion on top of 500 billion, that's 800 billion dollars. Okay? That's Rockefeller money. 800 billion we got right there. So let's see how much Chevron's worth. How much is the Chevron oil company worth? Okay, Chevron is worth 140. What's this? 140 billion or the 200? How much are they worth? Chevron stock. I don't know how much they worth. Oh, that market. I'm asking for the market share. How much are they worth? I think they worth like 150 billion. So that only puts them over $1 trillion. That only puts Rockefeller over $1 trillion right there. And that's not even half their money. So I didn't name Conoco. They still own Conoco too. Is Conoco still in business? Or did they get bought up? Let me see Conoco. How much is Conoco oil worth? They still. Conoco's worth 105 billion. Man, they motherfuckers way over $1 trillion just naming the corporation. See, ExxonMobil, Chevron, all conglomerates controlled together exactly. See, so they own all these. It's Conoco Phillips. They own Conoco and Phillips. So we over $1 trillion right there that they hide behind the scenes because they got controlling interest in these companies. Okay, so we know that. Is a Union 76? They own that too? Do they own Union 76 too? I can't remember because I know when they broke Standard Oil up, Rockefeller kept control of all of them, even when they broke up in all these different companies. Texaco, Exxon, Mobil, he owned all of them. He just broke them up into different names and shit. So you wouldn't know. And so we just named a few. And if they own Union 76, I've already listed way over $1 trillion right now, Seto. Not only do they own these companies, they also own the banks. They own Citibank. Let me see. The Rockefeller still owns Citi. Is Citibank or is it it's Citibank, right? Or is it Chase? No, Chase Manhattan. Let me see, what bank was it? What banks did the Rothschild family own? I mean, no, not the Rothschild, the Rockefeller. No. Don't forget, no. What New York bank did the Rockefellers own? Chase Manhattan or Citibank? Rockefeller family established the long history of Chase Manhattan, right? Which is Chase. What is that called? Chase something else. It's Chase and something. This is shit is worth billions of dollars. Is it Chase? Yep, David Rockefeller. Look at this. So they own one of the biggest banks in America that owns part of the Federal Reserve Bank. We know Chase owns part of the Fed, like I just told Seto. They were with the Rothschilds when they created the Federal Reserve Bank. They were out there on Jekyll Island, the Rockefellers, and through Chase Manhattan. It's called Chase something else right now though. See, President CEO of Chase Manhattan is David Rockefeller, became President of Chase Manhattan. But now it's called something else. What's it called now? It's called something Chase something. The bankers that define decades. That's right. The bankers that define decades. David Rockefeller and the Rothschild family. No shit. The Chase Chase Bank and David Rockefeller. What's that shit called today? It's called something Chase. We know it's still one of the biggest banks in the world. Chase something. But anyway, we know the Rockefellers own that bank and they own many other banks. We're not even talking about the oil. So they're not worth no $10 billion, Seto. Their money's in the fucking trillions of dollars. Trillions. There's no damn they're not worth no $1 billion. That's it. How much is Chase Manhattan worth today? How much is the bank Chase Manhattan worth today? So yeah, they merged with JP Morgan Chase. So we know these are the guys. So we know the two people that started the Fed, JP Morgan, the Rock, so they merged their banks. Chase is now merged with JP Morgan. That's the biggest bank in America. What's it worth? Let's see. So we know Chase Manhattan today is worth $600 billion. So that's another 600 billions over top of the trillions of dollars, Seto. JP Morgan Chase's net worth is $600 billion. And that's because they just lost money doing the stock exchange. So yeah, so all these people, Seto, that's real world history. Not that bullshit they give you. Through David Rockefeller, his Rockefellers and Rothschild, they created the CIA. They're the ones that go over top of governments to steal your resources. They're the ones that got Africa all fucked up. They're the ones stealing resources out of Africa. They're the ones that bombing kids, shooting them in the head in Israel. No one ever put up on charges because they're the ones that run the world. Not these countries. These bankers run the world. They the ones put their puppets in power in Africa. They the ones got Museveni in power, Tinubu in power. All these puppets. That's the real power, Seto. There you go. You're not gonna get that in no Ugandan school.
Actually, if at all you generalize and actually you ask people, if at all they know actually about whatever Keith you have been saying, I swear we can move actually and meet from here where I'm right about now, and you move, you ask someone, have you ever heard of the Rothschild or the Rockefeller? Someone will tell you, I've never heard about them. Who are they? What do they do?
And the funny part about the Kenyans now know, Seto. You hear the Kenyans talking about them doing that protest. The Kenyans know. The Kenyans now know, Seto. They know who the hell they are now. And so you've been, like you said, you'll be in Uganda asking you who are they, what they do. You know what they do? They're Museveni's boss. What? Yeah. Those are Museveni's bosses. I don't know, Seto, you talking crazy. You're talking crazy, Seto. Okay.
These are the people behind all the confusion.
Yeah, ask this question quick, Seto, man. I'll prove to you right now. We just use Nigeria. Why Nigeria's poor and can't even get their own oil. Let's say, we know Dutch Royal Shell, how much interest, because now they've hidden it. I'm going to say, they're probably going to say they don't have none no more. Let's say, how much interest and Shell or Dutch Royal Shell do the Rothschild family have? How much interest and Shell and the Shell Oil Company does the Rothschild family still have? Let's see what they say. But we know it's the Shell and also the other American company, ExxonMobil, the Rockefeller, that control Nigerian oil. They gonna hide that now because they know people like you looking up shit now. And now they change it and use investment
I don't know. I don't know
investment
why
bank.
they normally give me irrelevant things, but they say that the Rothschild family has had historical ties with the Royal Dutch shell,
Hmm.
particularly
Not no
with
more.
Victor Rothschild,
What
who
they're
was the
saying is,
senior executive of the
what?
shell at the shell.
Yeah, they own Shell, but what they did there, they made another company, took the name off of it, said the, and
However,
put a ship. But
specific current interest or stake
mhm,
that the Rothschild family holds in Shell is not publicly detailed.
it's not public. It's right. What they do, because they know you're starting to know shit, they'll create a fake company and say the company now owns part of Shell. And it's still them, but it's not their name anymore, Seto. So if you look up and say who controls Nigerian oil, you see it's Shell, and I think it's ExxonMobil. So we talk about the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, who control. That's why Nigeria is starving.
Who controls
Say
Nigerian oil?
oil. Yeah, just say it better say how much control does Shell and Exxon have of Nigerian oil? Because they're gonna come back and say, no, it's the Nigerians that control their oil. We know they don't. Like, we know it's a lot. So let's just say, how much interest does Shell and Exxon have in Nigerian oil? So we can skirt around the line. See how much they're gonna say. And you get a real history of the world. What they're saying,
Say,
Seth.
they say the interest is 30%, but
It's
they didn't
who?
give the amount. They say it's 30%.
It's more than that. They control it. So they know 30%. But you know they're there. So now you know. So you know the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers control that oil in Nigeria. So that's why you need to know who these people are. Like when you go to Uganda, who are those? Those are seven people that control Museveni, stupid ass. That's who. So it's better to keep Africans ignorant, Seto. Not knowing who actually runs the world, who controls why you're in misery. Why does the oil of Nigeria never benefit the Nigerians? Because the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers got control of it. It makes them benefit them. It brings them back trillions of dollars. Not you. I'm telling you right now, your bank in Uganda is owned by the Rothschilds. Seto, your bank, your bank is owned by the Rothschilds.
Praise.
You, that's right. It is crazy. Your central bank in Uganda is owned by the Rothschilds, not by Uganda. Just like our central bank is not owned by America, it's owned by the Rothschilds. But they were setting it up on Jekyll Island. Look how to teach that girl in Kenya said, what do you mean keep our bank is owned by the Rothschilds? Who's that? She can, that's how she can look it up and see it. She said, it says the Rothschild family. I said, I know. I told you who owns Kenya Bank. You don't own this shit. Don't nobody in Kenya own no bank, no central bank. Let's ask this: say, who owns the central bank of Uganda? Let's ask. It's owned by Uganda. That's a lie.
It's crazy.
That's why they killed Gaddafi because he refused to put a central bank, a Rothschild central bank in Libya. So they killed his ass. And now you learn the real history.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I know.
It's crazy. Now, if at all the Rothschild and the Rockefellers can control, let me say, can control USA for now, they can create their own country, support the country, whatever that goes within the country. They know they
But
are the
That's what they've
outings
been
and
doing.
the. How about
Right?
Africa, where everyone in Africa is confused? Everyone is thirsty about money and the connections outside.
Yeah, because you're ignorant. You don't know anything. That's right. Best to keep you ignorant, Seto. Let's see.
Because if at all we see protests like the current protests that we are having in Nigeria today, if at all we
Uh-huh.
see the Hausa people from Mali giving out Nigerian Hausa Russian flags just to
Yeah.
look for connections to Russia, what do we expect at the end of it? Like everyone is looking for connections outside. If at all someone lands on those people,
They
confusion.
don't. They confused. They don't know enough. That's why, like Maria
And
said,
Japan.
you're still ignorant. Ask this question, Seto. Say, when did President? I don't believe he did. They keep saying he did. Say, when did President Putin? Say, when did President Putin kick out the Rothschild Bank?
Did what?
When did?
This what?
Yeah. When did President Putin kick out? Kick out the Rothschild Bank from Russia? I told you they controlled Russia too. So say when did President Putin kick out the Rothschild Bank from Russia? Let's see what Google says.
Uh, they're giving the exact bank, but they say that uh, has banned. But they said that President Putin banned Rothschild banking family from entering
Yeah,
Russia.
yeah. Well, he kicked them out. They controlled Russia. So why was the Rothschild Bank in Russia then, Santo? You said they told Google said they don't got any banks. So why were they in Russia with their banks, Santo? Russia and Putin said hell no. See, I try to teach you how to look for truth. So when Putin came to power, the Rothschild Bank was still controlling Russia, and they were trying to tell him what to do. He said, "Nah, this ain't gonna work. You've been stealing all the wealth out of Russia and keeping Russian people poor." So they thought,
They
so they were
went
gonna try to. Go ahead, go ahead. It says what?
who went further and said that the Rothschild family has never controlled Russia's central bank, and Putin did not nationalize it. So the bank was nationalized long
Yeah.
before his presidency.
And why would they bring? Why would they bring the Rothschilds up when he said keeping the Rothschilds out? They did control the damn bank because they the ones committed communism. Said so. See now we got to go back. Now we know Russia was called the USSR, right? That was
Yeah.
communist. Okay, now we're gonna show you how they control the bank because the Rothschilds created communism. Etc. So let's do this. They know you don't never think you're smart enough to know all this stuff I'm teaching you. So let's get the answer from the sideways. Let's say look this up. Say Frederick Engels. Say, or just ask the question. Say was Frederick Engels and Karl Marx, Karl Marx, Karl Marx, agents of the Rothschild family. Now we know Frederick Engels was a cousin. Say was Frederick Engels. Engels is going to be Engels and Karl Marx. That's KarlMarx. Agents of the Rothschild family. And they're gonna try to hide that.
Did what?
They say, what were they agents? AGENT, agents of the Rothschild family. They're gonna see what they said. I'm gonna prove it to you that they were. I just want to see what Google's going to say. Let me know what you get, Seto.
They are just giving me a pamphlet here. Let me try to look at it and see. They're not giving me direct.
Okay, put this up. Say, did, because this is
They say
understand.
that
Karl Marx. Go ahead.
Influential pamphlet written by Karl Marx and of course
Communist
Friedrich Engels
Manifesto.
served
Uh huh.
as the platform for this tillage, became one of the principal revolutionary statements of the European socialist and communist parties in the 19th and
That
20th century.
yeah, that's the creative communism. But they don't want you to know that communism was created by the Rothschilds. Said no one said it. They funded Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Friedrich Engels was one of the Rothschilds' cousins. They funded this ideology so they could overthrow these kings in Europe. Right? They used these ideology to overthrow these kings. So they used that ideology that they created to overthrow the Tsar in Russia and turn that into a communist. Okay, this is how you prove. So you know that these are the Jews, right? The Jews. Okay. So I want
Yeah.
you to pull this up. Say because they're gonna hide it from us. Let's type it like this. Say, how the hell you spell the Bolsheviks? Say were the Bolsheviks mainly Jewish? You know the Rothschilds are Jewish. So
Was the what?
were the Bolsheviks? I don't know how to spell that shit. That's what they call themselves. The people that overthrew Russia. Bolsheviks. Let me see how you spell it. Hold on, give me a second. Let me use Google. How do you spell Bolshevik? Okay, it's gonna be Bolshevik is gonna be Bolshevic. Say were the Bolsheviks Jewish who overthrew Russia? Were the Bolsheviks Jewish who overthrew Russia? We know the answer is yes. We'll see what they say. Because they use their own people, fund their own people to overthrow the king of Russia. That's why they created the communism. That's why China's communist, Seto. They created communism to overthrow countries because they had all the money. They could print the money from nothing. They own all the banks.
Uh,
Does it give you anything?
Bolsheviks. Right?
Say, were the Bolsheviks mostly Jewish? And was it get anything?
But they just give me they gave me this that the Jewish abolishing this theory falsely claims that Jews orchestrated the Russian Revolution in
They did.
1917.
See, and I say
It
it's
is
falsely because that's falsely. We know that the Jews were the Bolsheviks, and it was the Rothschild Jews who funded it and overthrew it.
so
Okay,
they said that
I said what? Go ahead.
so they said that it was this theory falsely claims that the Jewish orchestrated the Russian Revolution of 1917 and controlled the
See,
Soviet Union to further
that's a
their own agenda. But in reality, while some Jews were involved in the Bolshevik movement, there were a majority among the revolutionaries.
They're gonna say
The
that
first
the leaders of that, the leaders of the of the revolution said they were all Jewish, all controlled by the Rothschilds and Rockefellers. They paid for it. So, if, let's say where.
so the first,
Let me do this. Let me just look and say where did the funding for the Bolsheviks come from to overthrow Russia? Russia really caused the timeline, so they give me like came to power in Russia. We know you came to power in Russia. Why did the Bolsheviks overthrow the Russian government? Because the Rothschilds said they were going to overthrow them. Because they refused to put a bank in. Because the Tsar refused to put a Rothschild bank in Russia 150 years ago, 1840 something. It was our Tsar Alexander, Tsar Nicholas. Rothschild said, "We need a bank in your country." He said, "You're not putting no bank in my goddamn country." Said they were going to overthrow you and kill your own family. And that's what they did. They overthrew his grandson. His grandson became king, the Tsar. They overthrew his ass and they murdered the whole family and took the country over.
Google doesn't give the real support or who funded. They say internal support, foreign aid that was
Yeah,
received from support from financial sources, like in German. They
financial
don't
source.
give.
Who got the financial sources set up? The banks. They didn't come from no. And remember, the Rothschilds originally come from Germany. The German banks are controlled by them. That was the first bank in Germany set up before they went to England and France and America and the rest of the world. So they also own the banks in Germany too. So there you go. Talking about just finance. Well, man, what financial interest Seto can take down a whole goddamn country? And Russia was an empire then, Seto. What financial sources can take down a whole fucking empire? The banks, Seto, the banks. So they're trying to hide that. So we know it's them we know it's them. That was I'm getting the German for the entire opposition of the Tsar in Russia to weaken its adversary in World War One. Lenin was a globalist. They try to say globalist as a Jew, a globalist, and did not see anything terrible in this. He believed that making the capitalists pay. That's all wrong, 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 wrong. It was a way they wanted to put that bank inside of Russia. And the Tsar, the king, told them, "No, you're not putting." That's why I told you, since they want to get rid of all the kings of Europe, because the kings didn't want them to put their banks inside their country. That's control. Like, nah, you ain't putting no bank in here. You got me fucked up. No. So let me see. Let me see if it says this. Let me see what Tsar was. Let me see it. What Tsar? What Tsar turned down the Rothschild family putting a bank in Russia? We're going to see. Russia, there were Jews like those. I didn't say that about Jews. I said Rothschild's wealth unite won't accept through Russians. I'm not asking that. The Russian Rothschilds, of course, exactly. The Russian Rothschilds. A new biography, Zingerberg reminds us that the Russians, the Russian Jews, the Rothschilds were in Russia and part of the revolution. I know it. I know they were. Changing face of Russian financiers. Yeah, I just want to know Rothschilds and deal over Tsar Love's letter to mistress. Yeah, well, anyway, I can't even find it. I know the Tsars, they told, it was our Tsar Nicholas and Tsar Alexander in the 1800s. The Rothschilds came and said, "Hey, we need to put a bank in your country." I said, "You're not putting no bank in the country, motherfucker. I'm the head of Russia, not you. We got our own currency. You're not putting no bank in our country." They said, "Then we're going to kill you. We're going to kill you and your whole family." I said, "You're not about to kill you. Motherfucker, I'm the Russian king. Sound crazy as shit. I'll slaughter everybody out." At that time, Russia was the strongest country in Europe then. So it wasn't no threatening no Russians back then. But they waited. Rothschild told the other kids, hey, we're going to get Russia. So they waited until the grandson came to power. And Russia was weakened at that state during World War One. And so they went and overthrew it, and they murdered the whole family. I said, wait, was that, let me see, was that Tsar Nicholas or Tsar Alexander? Which Tsar whole family got wiped out in 1917? That's Tsar, let's see. No, not wisdom. Which Tsar of Russia's whole family got wiped out in 1917 revolution? Okay, that was Tsar Nicholas. Okay, Nicholas, yeah. So it was Alexander, his granddaddy, they told that to. So Tsar Nicholas Romanov, yeah, according to the official state version of Soviet Union, Tsar Nicholas, along with members of his family, were executed by firing squad by the new Russian Bolsheviks. That's right. Executed all they ass. Because the Rothschilds told them we were going to execute you, motherfucker. We want a bank in your country. We want control of it. God damn it. And Tsar Alexander said, no, you out your mind. You're not, what? You're not putting none of your banks up in here. You sound crazy as cat shit. It's okay. Okay. And they told Tsar Alexander, we're going to murder you and your whole fucking family. And he didn't get his son, but they got it when his grandson came to power. They told you, firing squad, they murdered the whole family. The Tsar, his wife, all his kids. They murdered all of them, Seto. Wiped them out. And put that Tsar and put that bank, created communism and put that Rothschild bank in the Soviet Union. So when the Africans went around, oh, the Soviet Union is our friend. Soviet Union was our friend. But they controlled America. Well, anyway, Seto, shit, we've been like 3 hours. I'm going to let you go, man. Let you chill for the night, get yourself something to eat, and have a good night. You learned a lot. You learned a lot today. you learned a whole lot today. You know, you learn the French Revolution ain't what they told you it was. Let me ask this question real quick. Let me see. Did the Rothschilds instigate the French Revolution? See if they tell the truth. Let's see. Due to Baron von Rothschild fund the French Revolution? Yes, he did. Did the Baron of Rothschild fund the French Revolution? Of course he did. Yeah, of course he did. I didn't ask the Baron of Rothschild. I said, did they have anything to do with it? So you know they funded. Who bankrolled the French Revolution? The Rothschilds. The answers. The Rothschilds did. Who was the Rothschilds during Napoleon? When Napoleon invaded Persia, the prince sought to get his money out of the country, so he entrusted. Go ahead, Nathan Rothschild. Go ahead.
Yeah. They say that following the July Revolution of 1830, that Saint Louis Philippe came to power in France, James D. Rothschild put together a loan package to stabilize the finances of the new government.
Of course, ain't that funny? Ain't that funny? They came together to finance to stabilize the government that they overthrew, Seto. Why would they come in all of a sudden? Why couldn't they come to finance the government, Seto? Because they overthrew it. They overthrew the king. Get your ass out of here. They beheaded his ass and got him out of there. See, that's why you gotta know who these people are, these families that go through history, Seto. So you actually know how the world really works. That's why, like you said, you go to the streets of Kampala, you know the Rothschilds are, who's that? Who are they? They're the reason why you broke and fucked up, nigga. That's who they are. That's why you selling tomatoes out here on the corner. But anyway, Seto, let me let you go. Let you go enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Keith. Thank you for being here and, of course, for that enlightenment. Thank you so much. There are a lot of things I've learned from that I didn't know before. And I guess whoever that has been watching this show has got something to go to know with the Rothschild and the connection they have in the entire world. Let it be Africa, let it be wherever. Anyway, thank you, Keith, for being here. Jibijaba was here.
Family.
Okay. Jibijaba was also here. Guys, have a blessed day and a blessed night for those that are within East Africa. Thank you so much. We meet tomorrow. Bye bye.
Peace.
So now this had killed the market for, of course.